Hello and welcome to DOTA News Daily, the only daily news show playing in North America all the way from Europe. We have a lot of news to cover from in between the end of the Berlin Major and the beginning of the third tour of Division 1. Let's start with all the roster changes. In China, we have the new Azul race stack with Somnus, Chalice, FY, Lu, Tianming, and coach Lan M looking to upset the pecking order in that region. PGL GD releases their offlaner Zeal and picks up ex-Vici Gaming offlaner New. In Southeast Asia, SMG picked up Masaros and Johnny Well for the 3 and 5 positions respectively. Forev leaves his position as coach on Bleed Esports and is replaced with Misery. Xerxia Esports drops Karma and picks up Young God for their carry position. In Eastern Europe, Lil is picked up by Team Hydra, and in Western Europe, a new Team Bald stack is formed, with Gorg, who cares, Pablo, Crash, Symmetrical, and the return of Excalibur to the very serious competitive dark horse for the region. Enigma Galaxy picks up Yuma and Mikey after releasing Sumail and ATF. This is after a standout performance for Mikey as a stand-in for Shopify Rebellion in ESL's Dream League. In South America, No Ping Esports gets remade with players Drakeel, HFN, Sebas, ZXCA, and Sexy Yogi, and coach Old R. And in North America, man oh man is the drama spicy. Roster-wise, only San King Gomez, the Mexico-based stack rising up from Division 2, experiences a change, switching out Neko for Leonidas as their carry player. Oh, but the real drama lies on a PGL ruling allowing Bait to play in the NADCL from Europe, due to a new law in Ukraine preventing the players from traveling. This comes after a firestorm of controversial rule enforcement from PGL preventing Fart Studios from playing in the NADCL due to players traveling out of the country for talent work, and then also preventing the OG roster from rescheduling tiebreaker matches due to 2 of their players standing in at the Berlin Major. This ruling seems to mark a contradiction on how PGL are enforcing their regional rules, especially since the Alpha stack coming up from Division 2 are entirely South American players. North America once again is the testing grounds for how far regional rules can be pushed. Obviously, the Bait situation in Ukraine should be an exception due to the war. Cyborg Matt, owner of Team Secret on Reddit, even stated that this ruling most likely came from Valve and not PGL. And look, I've been plenty critical in the past of PGL and their by-the-letter interpretation of the rules. I think Bait is in a force majeure scenario, and it's probably most fair to allow them to play in the NADCL for this one tour. But there is still a real problem here. If this ruling did in fact come from Valve, I believe we need more transparency about how these rules are being implemented. It becomes increasingly difficult for teams and players to make decisions about how and where they're going to spend a season when the rules are coming from 2 different places and applied seemingly randomly. This also doesn't take into account how this region hopping affects the North American region in the long term. How long will it be the 3-week vacation spot for international players, hoping to gain competitive advantage? I'm not someone who is against having a blend of cultures and nationalities compete in a single region. Overall, I think it's a good thing. But this region needs time and attention paid to its pub scene outside of the 9 weeks of the year if we want to continue to see growth in the North American region. That brings us to our last story of the day, the return of NADCL. This story is pretty dense, so I'm actually going to cover it in a separate video that I will link here. As always, thank you for joining me at DOTA News Daily. I'm your host, Wesley Affair, and you can catch me hosting Division 1 coverage throughout the season over at twitch.tv/WesleyAffair. Thank you.